Hey, Barb.
Hey, how are you, Damon? Missing you in New York.
I am missing you as well. Is it cold up there?
Today's beautifully sunny. It's freezing as could be, but you don't mind it because the sun's out. It poured like hell yesterday.
Oh, damn, man. Well, I hope you're staying safe and staying inside.
Of course, I'm getting very good at being inside.
Are you?
Yeah.
So I'm inside as well, staying safe. I was on Insta story yesterday, and somebody said, "Well, it doesn't look like you're inside because I'm actually in a building and looking over the water." So, but
Yeah.
that's it's not bad.
That's the best kind of inside there is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, listen, I want to start bringing some other experts on and ways to do it. And obviously, you know that I think that you're, all joking aside, I think you're one of the most creative sharks because, my thing is I'm like a one-trick pony. I guess a celebrity wears something, that I ask a store to buy it or I put it online somewhere, and that's my whole thing. But I think that you always think of things from a marketing perspective and things with zero. You actually work the power of broke. You don't look at money first. You look at the way to create some kind of movement. And I know that people want advice. So I know they're asking you for questions. Excuse me about the airplanes. I know they're asking you for questions. They're asking me for some questions. I know you have limited time. I'm going to get to a couple of questions right here, Barb, if you don't mind.
Not at all. Go for it. Let's hear
All
them.
right. So one of the questions are, for those of us who have lost our jobs, what is your advice to staying positive and motivated? What should our next step be to make money or be able to pay the rent? I understand that is a very, very general question. You don't know their circumstances at all, but what kind of general answers can you give, or from your life experience right now?
I think the challenge to staying focused and optimistic in tough times uh, is an enormous challenge, and you can't do it alone. Okay. First off, I think the stress comes from not having a timeline as to how long you're going to stay stressed, how long this whole thing's going to be, and trying to second guess the ending. Like, what do I do? What do I do? People think the worst. So I
Yeah.
think number one would be thinking of it as a temporary situation. And as a temporary situation, how could you take advantage of it? I would think that this is a time where you sit back, you give some thought to exactly what you're wanting to get out of your longer term future versus the immediate, and then make a list of the immediate things that are really causing you to worry. I'm a great list maker. I've always believed in that because I find that when I'm anxious and eager and filled with anxiety, I usually am not quite sure. I'm vaguely familiar with what's bothering me, but I don't have anything specific. I find when I can get out a clipboard and a legal pad and start writing down everything that's bugging me, it's the beginning of my cure, because I could look at each item and think, okay, what can I do right now to help cure that? And I generally find most of the things you can't do anything about, so I let it go. But on those items that I feel like I have an idea or an action step or a plan to put in place, those are the ones I move on. And in moving, I feel more capable of controlling that uncomfortable spot of feeling like I have no control. And that's what I focus on and I work on. And that's what this chapter is about, I think. It gives you a chance to really pause and think what you want to change about your life long term. And all you could do short term is try to skin the cats of the few that you can. And for me, I find that welcoming other people in my life makes a big difference. I listen to a lot of motivational tapes. I listen to comedy, as weird as that is, because a good laugh makes me feel better and I get to see things with more clarity. And I make sure that I'm in touch with my friends that are positive through Zoom now. That's a lifesaver every day. I'm on Zoom with my positive friends. I ignore the negative ones because they see the negative in everything. Kind of get rid of those people. And so I think all of those things culminate in a better attitude. And when you have a good attitude, you are more able to make differences in your life. That was a
And
big,
so,
long circle answer,
no,
wasn't it?
I got it, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back home though, because I'll tell you something. I think that we may joke about Kevin O'Leary and stuff like that, but what you said is very powerful, and sometimes, and I'm definitely a person like that, because of our experience in life, I can understand the value of what you're saying. Some people need to hear it like Kevin O'Leary. Shut up, you're dead to me. Get over it. And some people, when you go, yeah, I'm not sure if this is working out for you, they go, so there is a chance, right? So I think that
Yes,
there's a way
yes.
that we're saying. So I'm going to reiterate kind of some very important points that you said. First of all, you write down a list and you understand the core of what is the drive behind it. Same with me, though. I actually do the same thing. I write down a list. But number two is sometimes when I'm mad at something, I go, why am I mad? What is the exact reason I'm mad? And then sometimes I say, because my damn ego was hurt. That's why I'm really mad. Honestly, the person on the other side is just trying to win, and I'm pissed off because I didn't win. Or sometimes I say, no, it's a bad deal. Or, you know what? My gut tells me that this person is not the person I want in my life, and I'm mad because I didn't trust my gut, and I'm an idiot, and I trusted that person more than me. So get to the core of why you are in that situation. Also, I think something you said is share with people and have that strong bonding party to help you through this issue. Now, here's the best thing, and listen, I keep telling everybody, whatever it is here now. Here's the best part about it. You can go out and share your issues with people, because you know what? A lot of times people get intimidated by sharing their issues, but everybody's fucked up right now. Everybody. So they're going to be able to relate.
Ground, right?
Yeah, they're going to be able to relate to you, because maybe 2 weeks ago they were doing good at their job and they were like, well, you're a loser. You never really worked hard enough. But right now they have a parent, or they themselves are vulnerable. Their businesses went down. They don't know what they're doing right now. And life is so uncertain for everybody in this world. I think everybody's like me. I wake up, I look through this, I go, was it a bad dream? Wait a minute, this thing is still going on. What's happening right now? What are we doing? So I think that you can share your challenges with people, and a lot of people will step up.
Damon, you were in New York City on the heels of 9/11. My memory of those months that followed were much more horrific than what we're going through now. And I distinctly remember everyone feeling totally out of control, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if we'd be in war. We didn't know if it was over. We were waiting for the next plane to hit. It was much worse than it is right now, I feel. But it's almost, looking back on that, I think to myself, God, why was I so stressed out? It all worked out, and I'm reminding myself of that now. I'm like, this isn't as bad as that. We came through it, and we'll come through this one again. Yeah.
100%.
So it's good to put in perspective as to other tragedies that happen,
The tragedies have happened like this globally for, listen, 9/11, we all saw what happened, and I was actually in the Empire State Building. My office has been there for 20 years, so we had to run. I was on the 66th floor, and if if a little kid left their school lunch in the lobby by mistake, I mean, all of a sudden, the alarms rang off, and we had to run down 66 floors, 3 times a week, and that was the skinniest I've ever been in my life, So it was really, really scary time, and we got over that. And before that, there was after that was 08. Before that was the .com bubble, then the 98 crash, and then the world has always seen things like that. When Kennedy got shot, people thought the world was over. World War II. I mean, all kind of stuff like that. So anyway, we'll get over that. So I'm going to get to the next question, and I know that person was asking about how do they pay their rent and things of that nature. I know we just glossed over it. It's not an easy answer. How are you a little bit more prepared for this prior to it coming? How are you going to pay your rent? Go back to what you do naturally. How are you going to tap into the people you know around you?
Remind Damon, for those folks here who are here in New York City, you should be aware that there's been a moratorium on evictions. So if you don't pay your rent, the landlord can't have you move out, basically. Not basically, that's clearly what it is. And I think if you can't pay your rent, you're one of the many who can't. And I think calling that landlord very quickly and telling them that, they will work with you. There's not a lot of people out shopping for rental apartments right now in any city. Right. They're all staying put. So you have great leverage right now. And the same is true of how do you pay your mortgage? I get that question all the time. You call your lender, they will work for you. They're not in the business of wanting to own your house. And so I think those kind of tremendous fears that are at the root of a lot of fear, like what if I get thrown out? What if I get thrown out? By putting on a list and really seeing the reality of what can really happen, that fear should be far more minimal when you actually introduce the facts of the situation as well.
Absolutely. So, I think you bring up another point. If you're fortunate enough, and a lot of people don't have cash at hand, you can renegotiate everything. So let's talk about a little bit of what happens after this. So listen, when 9/11 happened, I was in the Empire State Building, and my partners, our lease was up, and I think we were paying, let's say, argument's sake, we were paying $60 a square foot. But 9/11 happened, and we were scared because we were like, well, that's ground zero for any terrorists, so I don't want to be in this building. And so then my partners, though, went and signed another lease with the Empire State Building. I said, why? They said, because now our lease is $25. And I was like, but we are at ground zero for terrorists. And they're like, yeah, the rent was to die for. So anyway, we ended up basically reducing our rent for the next 15 years. Right now, you can renegotiate your credit cards, any debts you owed. Yes, you do not get kicked out. You cannot, as well as taxes are being pushed back for 90 days, and you don't have any employment taxes as well. You can reset everything. So if you happen to get out of this, your outlay could be potentially 20 to 25% less than it is today over the next couple of years. So,
in short, the consumer has the power really right now.
absolutely, it is a buyer's market. And, you know, so the next one is, how can we stay focused on our business goals from home? What steps should we be taking to invest in our business during this time?
Well, I think this person asking the question already has half the answer: how to invest in the business goals.
In the
and
business.
I don't think many people don't have money now to invest in their business. I don't think that's what he's asking. How do you invest your time to push your business ahead in these times? I think you have to sit down, really take a deep dive and see how you've been making your money in your business so far, what has been generating the revenue, what hasn't really been doing so well, and to clean shop. In other words, to refocus what your goals are, where you're going to take, where you're going to do best going forward. I don't just mean right now in this period of duress. I'm talking about long term. I'm doing that. I have wrote down every piece of my business that is off kilt right now. And I've tried to think, okay, what's an alternate? How could I develop that now? How can I brainstorm on this with a bunch of people who have good thoughts, get as much ideas as I can, and then put it into some kind of a program that I can make money on? I'm regrouping in an intelligent way, because this is the period you're supposed to do that. I think a lot of people panic, move to action. And I don't think that's the wise thing to do. This is a time to sit down, analyze where you've been, where you want to go, and then last, how you're going to get there, and then move on those fewer action steps that are going to bring you the best return. It's a time to be thoughtful before you jump. And I think a lot of people are so jumpy, they don't know where to turn. And you can certainly put together a greatest, best plan for your business going forward, because when are you going to take this time to do it? We don't ever have the time. We're so busy reacting to our own business. But now I feel already I'm getting excited about my future in my own business, because I could see better options that I probably should have done 6 months ago, but now I have the time to actually execute that. What are you doing?
I think that's a good point. So first of all, what you know,
wait, Damon, that's not just a good point. That was a good 3-4 points. Come on,
no. That was mad buttery.
Okay.
I'm gonna absolutely. I think that I'm doing the same thing in a sense. So first of all, you look at your outlay of everything and you tap into your resources before you start going and acquiring things and doing other things or getting rid of things. You look at your inventory. So number one, what's your number one inventory? It's your people. So first of all, you look at your people. Now I'm gonna break it down in 2 different ways. When you have a larger staff, I always tell people, you know, over deliver when you're a staff to people, because, you know, you may say, I'm working 9 to 5, this person's working 9 to 5, but why is this person busting their ass so much more? Guess what? Because when I have a choice between 2 of you and shit like this happens, I'm getting rid of the one who was the least and who couldn't care less and felt like they were just doing me a favor and they weren't a team player. So you start to look at your inventory there.
I'm making those choices right now. Everyone's laying people off, and the good guy doesn't get laid off. He's the last guy to go.
Right. Now, when you have those people, when you have all those people, the ones who are the key ones, and honestly, I am not saying this, we have been as tight as possible, so I know my staff is listening. I have no plans on doing that, because those people sort their wear out anyway, and they find other jobs or we get rid of them. Now I say to my staff, the burden as an entrepreneur is not always on you. You know, I'm Batman, my staff is Robin, and sometimes my staff is Batman and I'm Robin. Before I come up with any brilliant idea, I ask them, what have you been wanting to do all this time while you were here? Where have we been falling short? Where do you see their potential outcome for growth that you've been ignored and you've been raising your hand saying, I'm telling you this, I'm telling you this. And so the people right now listening, you may end up be able to move up in a position or be able to try to find a way to bring stuff, because I have a much smarter and younger staff than me. And that's for one reason and one reason only. I don't hire you if you're dumber than me. I hire you if you're smarter than me. So first of all, dig into your staff and find that, right? What is your physical inventory now? If you happen to be a manufacturer and you happen to have,
Damon, before you move on to the staff, can I add one little thing that has been
sure,
enormously useful in my operation with my team? And that is getting together regularly. We haven't done it exactly daily, but almost daily, where you're getting together on Zoom. You're doing the brainstorming together with all the faces on your screen and then coming up with a plan of attack. Bringing my
yeah,
team together, if I had to say one thing I've done smart from the beginning when we've all had to scatter into our homes and we don't have that nucleus and that camaraderie, is bringing them together on Zoom. I'm telling you that one decision has had more to do with all the creativity and the stuff we've gotten done than anything else, for the camaraderie, for the brainstorm, the culmination of good thoughts feeding off each other. You can't do that by email. You got to get the people live in front of you. And that has been the single best change I've made having to do with my staff.
and while we keep talking about Zoom, I know a lot of people are thinking it's too late. Zoom is still at a low price right now because a lot of people are still shuttering around in
Dirty
big
dogs,
companies.
you're thinking of buying the thing. I'm not even thinking of that. Good for
You
you.
gotta buy Zoom right now, because in another 6 months, because we're gonna be here for a while, another 6 months, that thing is gonna be 10 times more because every conversation I'm on,
Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
they're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Zoom, right? So now let's talk about somebody. A lot of these people have physical inventory, and they may have had a retail shop or something else, and they couldn't move the goods. So now you start to look into your Rolodex because you own that, obviously, and say, who can I collaborate with? And you go, wait a minute. I wasn't smart enough to really take advantage of social media at that time or various direct-to-consumer customers, but now I'm sitting on a whole bunch of inventory. I don't have anybody in my stores. All right, so you would have normally had a blouse that you would have you would have bought it for $50. You would have put it out for $100. So what do you do? Or let's say a workout outfit. You have nobody in your store, but everybody's buying workout equipment. Go contact some workout equipment people you may know, or some people who are selling direct to other consumers in a way of maybe healthful, nutritious food, and say to them, here's what I want you to do. Because you're already selling this equipment for $300, give any of your customers 25 to 30% discount on my apparel brand. So when they're getting in shape, they can do this. And what happens to you? You're adding more value to your customer. I'm getting rid of this inventory. Your customer is getting to know me. Anyway, I'm saying it in a very simple way, but try to collaborate with other people.
You know what, Damon, you're saying in a simple way, and all the best things are said in simple ways. And your example that you just gave is a great example. I think the overall thing you're saying is, if you're in a hole, you don't get out of a hole unless you reach your hand up and somebody grabs it. I think this is a time, as you just demonstrated with that one example, that probably applies to every business, that if you're in a hole, you're not going to get out of it sitting in your hole and thinking about it or feeling sorry for yourself. You're going to think, like you said, who do I know? How do I do this? And put that hand up out of the hole and somebody grabs it. I think that's the key thing that's applicable to all businesses right now.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I know somebody out here in Miami I was talking to yesterday owns 15 restaurants. He had a massive amount of food in the restaurants, and everything got shut down. So this
Wow.
is perishable inventory, and he didn't have a big takeout business, but he had a fine dining restaurant. So he took most of the food and went to high-end retailers, like the specialty markets, like the smaller version of Whole Foods and all that, and he gave it to them on consignment. They ended
Wow,
up
smart
having a
guy.
shortage of they ended up having a shortage of food
Everybody
because
won.
everybody won, and everybody won. So they ended up making a couple of $1 million back off their food that normally would have perished.
But let me tell you, a lot of people would have sat there and think, oh my God, what do I do? How do I do it? And try to use the normal channels. This is the guy that reached out of his hole, and look what he did. Smart guy. It's the same thing.
And by the way, he labeled his food with his restaurant's name on it. You never know if those restaurants will come back, but hopefully people will go online and search who it was. All right, so let me see the next one. I was planning on launching my business next month, but now I don't know if it is a good time. Should I still launch my business?
I say yes. My mom had 10 kids, and she said it was never a good time to have a baby. She said the time is never right. And that's the truth. The time is never right to launch a business. You could analyze it to death and say this is an absolute best time and the economy is great. Let me launch my business. But guess what? You have a ton more competition. Everybody's out there already doing it and competing and having the money to compete with you. I launched my business at a terrible time, and I was so thankful. I was too stupid to know it was a terrible time. But what I had in that terrible time is an openness to new people. And people were willing to try what I was offering. If I had waited another year and a half or done it 2 years sooner, I would have had phenomenal competition I could have probably not competed with. I think bad times are a great time to launch a business, not only because you have less competition, but also you could sneak in the back door on people. If you are launching a business, the businesses that are typically buying your service or your product are cutting back, and they're letting people go, and the old dog is going out, the old guard is going out. What they're looking for is some cheap option that they could replace it with. So you can sneak in the back door by offering part-time service, part-time amenities, part-time whatever the thing is. This person asked you, I don't know what the business is, but it's a great time to launch a business when times are tough. It really is a great time. Most people I know that are hugely successful as entrepreneurs over the years that I've gotten to know them actually all shared that in common, that they launched in bad times. So don't be shied off by what's going on, because it's collective thinking that's stinking thinking, really. Like everybody telling you, what are you, crazy? No, if you're out there alone, you're usually pretty smart and much smarter than the next guy.
Bar, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, they say when you get everybody's opinion, you got the lowest common denominator, right? So,
Oh
and
God, I hadn't heard that. It's true. Yeah.
and I couldn't agree with you more. Listen, most things is stinky thinking. That's right, because it's an opinion, and everybody in the world has two things. They all have an opinion and an asshole, and they both stink. So I agree that you can do that. But
and
you know what, my buddy.
I'll add to that. There's a 10 reasons not to do everything in life. Usually one reason to do it. People succumb to the 10 always, every time. Yeah.
I'm glad they had asked that question too, because our buddy Lewis Howe, I know that you did interviews with him and I did. He posted something yesterday. He said startups founded during the last recession, '08, were Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Pinterest, WhatsApp, Square, and Venmo. Those are some of the most iconic. Those are the most iconic companies in the world that were then. Wow. And you know, listen. The same thing, Barbara. Don't suffer from analysis paralysis and say, well, it's like going with double dutch. When do I get in? I did the same thing. Whenever I launched my business, everybody said, well, you need to be in a store. You need to have a distributor. No, I stood on the corner of Apollo Theater in Harlem at midnight when those people got out of the Apollo Theater, and I had my little shirts, and I got the best feedback. They told me what they thought about my shirts and my mother all at the same time. And it made me, you know, because I had 10 shirts with 10 colors, and I realized that 60% of my sales were black, 20% were white, and then just blue was kind of in the middle. So I reduced it down to 3 colors. I had 10 logos.
Immediate feedback.
They picked 2 logos. So it's really a good time to launch a business. I'm gonna ask one more question, and then you and I are just gonna freestyle about, you know, maybe the show a little bit and what's going on. This is perfect. We've touched on it a little bit, but this is really perfect. It sounds like it's probably a person a little more mature that doesn't realize the value of what you and I are doing right now, but they want to start. It says, how can I continue to grow my network when I'm not able to be face-to-face with people right now? I think that's sounds a little silly to me, but because they hit me on social media. So they already know the value of it. But just any advice for those people, because I think here's a good time. It's a good time now because mentors can be older and younger. And right now, because everybody's virtual, you don't have to worry about having ailments and you can't get here and there. But if you've been doing a great job for 30, 40 years, you could type 60 words a minute, or you know how to do this and that. I think this is a very valuable time because we're going to need experience in this world. And before you say anything right now, Barb, here's what I told my staff. I said, for the younger ones in here, I want you to ask some of the more mature people who've been through life, because nothing can replace experience, and talk to the other members of the staff. And for the more mature ones, talk to some of the younger ones who will really understand technology. You guys got to depend on each other because we love each other. We're a team and we got each other's back. But what's your answer to this person who asked that question?
What was the question once more, Damon? I
The
was
question
listening
was
to your comments here.
the question was at this time, when how do I continue to grow my network if I can't meet face to face? Now maybe
Okay,
this person was,
yes.
conference person or something like that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this person isn't using any of the many tools, or maybe they are, but they sure don't sound like they are. Many tools to be in touch and stay in touch with people, like Zoom, like Google chat rooms, whatever. Okay, but here's what I have discovered in the last week. I have been making phone calls and finding everybody in. Everybody is available by phone. So if it's something that they have to offer that's of merit, not just to stay in touch, I frankly don't want to hear from anybody unless they have something to offer. Honestly, I'm not in the mood. It's not that kind of environment right now. Reach out and hustle for business. It's almost lacks taste. But in terms of getting things done, and connecting with my existing network, I am finding you could reach over and use a phone better than you ever could before. Not on email, but on the telephone, the good old fashioned telephone. And then the other, of course, is through social networking, as we're doing here. But those are the two magic places to stay in touch with people. But let me just say, I think you better have something to offer before you reach out. I think you have to give a little pause right now to think through, what do you have that really you want to reach out and network about. And if it's not worthwhile, you shouldn't be doing it. If it is worthwhile and you have something to offer, by all means, you have the means of doing it through either social networking or certainly through the telephone. I've been using the telephone shockingly to get everything done this week. I never even call people anymore, but this week I've gotten everything done.
Yeah, so you hit it right on the head. And now reaching out, like you said, it's a delicate balance, right? How can you find ways to add value to the people when you reach out? Not, hey, what's up? You want to buy my inventory? Hell, no. How can I collaborate with you and you do this? Or, well, hey, what's up? What are you going through right now? Are there any ways that we can work together? But
I
try
can
to
help
come up with
you.
solutions.
Yes.
Yeah, come up with
Yes.
solutions. Don't say what can we do, because that person right now is trying to figure out so many things, and you may be reaching out to somebody going through such a tragic moment. But if you can add value to what's going on, come up with ways to add value and say, if not, I can't add value in this way. Hit me up. Think about some stuff, and any way that I can be there, I'm here for you, because people want to know you're here for them. So I want to thank you, Barbara. And the last question I have, because a lot of people think that you and I in this great position, and it's amazing, it's easy, and I am sitting in a really great place in Miami. You're sitting in a great place there, and we have no problems in the world. I have to share with people that if you have a boss, or you have employees, we're at a very special time where everybody's affected by this, because listen, I have a mother who's 75 years old. I have another mentor who's 95 years old. My, certain other family members suffer from underlying conditions. I have to worry about my staff. My staff is worrying about me. We're all going through a lot of changes right now. So I don't want people here to only think that you and I are just living life and just laying back. What are the challenges? What are the human challenges you may be having right now, to let people know that people are just people, no matter what level you get to?
Well, I don't really think I'm trying to put the messaging out there that I'm just like everybody out there, because I have a lot more advantages than a lot of people have. I'm not worried about my job. I'm not self-supporting 3 kids on my own. I almost can't scratch the surface. But what I can address is worry is worry. Anxiety is anxiety. And so for me, I'm doing 2 things. I'm religiously creating great self-discipline for myself, of knowing what I want to use this time to accomplish. I use post-it notes versus a long list that I write on. Post-it notes are all over my refrigerator as I do each one. And it sounds ridiculous, but whether it be clean out the closet, I've been planning to do for 3 years and just haven't gotten around to, or starting a new media plan for a specific purpose. Everything is all on post-it notes. My being able to put that clarity on my refrigerator and rip the notes off as I do them is a great way to soothe worry, because I feel like I'm productive. And then the other thing that I think is essential, and I know most people do it today, but for me it's a lifesaver, is working out first thing in the morning before I do another thing. Getting rid of my anxiety. When I go into a workout, even if it's only for a half hour, that's honestly all I do. I go into the workout, I'm worried, I'm not sure what my worries are. I come out of the workout, I exactly know what I have to work on, and my anxiety is decreased by half. And that applies to everybody. Everybody could just do exercise. So between the notes on my refrigerator and the exercise is how I'm managing worry. And I'm really then having the time to appreciate the things that I'm thankful for, that I'm enjoying right now and enjoying all of life in, and really realizing what, being reminded once again, what's really important, what's really important. And so those are the three things I might add to whatever you're going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, so me, 100%, I understand that I'll never have to necessarily work again, things like that. But unfortunately, three of my associates or friends have passed away over the last, week. And, it's hard to understand who else may potentially be doing that. And when you're talking to people, like even talking to, your family members, the first thing, of course, with your family and staff is to keep them protected, because no matter what we're talking about here in growing business, there is no business if you don't have your loved ones around. So sometimes that becomes a big challenge. I like the
As you
working
say
out
that,
part.
I'm pushing a staff person a few feet away from me. Back.
And, as it comes to working out, listen, the first 3-4 days, I just said, this is so overwhelming. I'm just going to drink every night and just get numb, and maybe it'll go away. And then I turned
Well,
around.
I've been drinking a little more wine too, I must admit. Yeah.
Yeah. I turned around this morning. No, not this morning, probably about 3 days ago. And I said, you are one fat MFer. You better get back into the gym and stop blaming it on the synthroid drugs for or anything else for the ex-cancer. I know what I need to do. So
Yeah.
let's get it back. And
That sounds just to me like the lecture I gave my husband Bill. I said, you look fatter to me. I think you're fatter than you were last week. Oh, no. He's fatter. I could tell.
But on the flip side, I've been around my little 3-year-old, and I've been walking
Yes.
I'm in Miami, and I didn't want my mother to go outside, so I've been offering to walk her dogs for her, and my wife and I were going to kill each other by being in here. One of us are going to pass away from a corona-related issue, because she's definitely going to throw me off the wall, because out the window, because I've been telling her dad jokes every 8 minutes, and it's not working out. But anyway, Barb, I really love you. Thank you for taking the time. You look beautiful.
I love you back. You know that.
Why do you look so beautiful? Did you just say, you know what, you gotta feel like you're walking down Fifth Avenue? You just gotta wake up and smile in the mirror. Why do you look so beautiful right now?
I look beautiful because for the first 2 days of working at home, I was wearing just my sloppiest outfit, no bra. I looked terrible. And then I realized I wasn't working as well. So I dress up for work every day is what I do. I know it sounds like a nutty thing. It takes me a good 45 minutes to really look good. But you know what? I do better work. I feel like I'm ready to attack. And that's part of my own self-discipline. And for me, it works.
Well, it's working for me too. You look beautiful. I love you so much. And take care of yourself and your family. And we'll be talking on the phone. And thank you for spending time with us. And you got to do one of these for your people. You got to do one of these for your people another week or so, and I'll get on too, and we'll come up with some new stuff as we figure things out.
No, I'm going to interview your wife. That's who I'm going to interview. I'm going to see what you really like at home. That would be a good one. Honestly, it will. Okay.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.